wants to suck you down. And trust me when I tell you, it's like you're up here and they might be down here with guilt, shame, and they're like, and all of a sudden you find yourself in this place thinking, I don't like this.
Right.
I don't want this anymore. But if you're not educated.
Right.
Hey guys, so we just want to talk about finding your truth. What does that actually mean? That means like really looking in a mirror, right? Looking at yourself and being honest with yourself. So Mary Beth is an advocate. You want to share?
Domestic violence advocate. Yeah.
And I did Turning Lives Around. I'm an advocate for that, as well as I'm a coach. I'm a life strategy coach. Did Tony Robbins' whole course. Robin Madonis, phenomenal, outstanding. And then also
John Maxwell.
Yeah, John Maxwell. That's one of my favorite. Also, I've learned so much for the last 7 years. So tell me about your, the wisdom and understanding that you got, because that will be one of your books one day, right?
Of what? Of being a domestic violence
Yeah.
advocate? Yeah.
What did it do for you?
Well, I first of all, I was in a marriage that I thought was good, started out good, I thought, and but little by little, I started to notice that any problems that we ever had were never able to be resolved. You can never talk it through. That individual would basically turn away.
Would it be fight or flight all the time?
Basically, never fight, always flight, always ran away from me. So,
yeah, it was called the Silent Night. Stonewalling.
Silent treatment was crippling to me, really. It was just awful.
And
I like to talk about things.
Right, and that's the thing. We do behavioral assessments, and we're both high eyes, and we are full of energy, full of love, full of friendship. Our greatest fear is rejection. So somebody that you're in a relationship with, if they're not emotionally healthy and well, they will cut you off. And let me tell you, that's worse than actually having a fight. Right? What did it feel like for you?
It was very, very frustrating. When somebody refuses to talk to you, it's very, you feel diminished. You don't feel like
you matter.
You matter. It's very a feeling of being really lonely too.
Yeah.
It's like this person is supposed to be your best friend and your partner, and refuses to talk to you, or we're the famous gaslight. Everybody's gaslit today, but there's something. It's very damaging. Let's put it that way. To have somebody not validate your feelings, or to tell you. He started telling me like, well, you feel like this, and I was like, I started to say to him, excuse me, but I'm Mary Beth, and you're, don't tell me what I'm thinking, don't tell me what I'm feeling.
And you're allowed to feel. Just remember that. I always say too, listen, you do you and I do me. Right. I'm allowed to feel how I feel. You have the right. It's a free country. You've pleaded the Fifth Amendment. Freedom of speech. Listen, if you feel a certain way, share it. But if they don't like it, that's where you have to start to see that there's a bond, I want to say a trauma bond or damage or dysfunction in a relationship. A lot of times we trauma bond to people and it almost becomes normal. But I love what she said to me before. She said that they almost teach you.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead, share that.
Well, it's actually, there's a word for it. It's called grooming. So the person, they kind of like target you for your strengths, because you really do have a lot of strengths, good things. They don't go after somebody who has nothing to give them. And then they test the waters. They might pull something on you, and then if you rise up and go, "Oh, that's not acceptable," they'll back off. So then they'll try another angle. So it's this whole grooming to see just how much you will tolerate. And eventually for me, it was, I became an overfunctioner, because as you're starting off with, you're thinking you're a partnership. Now listen, in every relationship, sometimes you could be a high maintenance friend, or you have, maybe you're going through things and the other person kind of like holds, like pulls a little bit more of the weight. But there's this kind of balance that begins to happen, right? But then eventually that person...
It's an energy chart. There's different energies, right? There's a low energy, and this would be shame, guilt, apathy, grief is like 20, 30, 40. This is so good. This is called the vibrational scale. So sometimes you guys might not know this, but exactly what she's talking about is their energy versus your energy.
Right.
High eyes, most of the time, if they're healthy and well, live in 500. That's love. Joy is 540. Peace is 600. Enlightenment is 700. And from 700 to 1,000 is like you're becoming enlightened with God. You're becoming one with God, with your creator. You know him so well and intimately. You're bonded, right? But joy, right? When you have that relationship with God, you're so filled with joy. I mean, you can't even compare it. But when you're with somebody with a low vibration, without even knowing it, it wants to suck you down. And trust me when I tell you, it's like you're up here and they might be down here with guilt, shame, and they're like, and all of a sudden you find yourself in this place thinking, I don't like this.
Right.
I don't want this anymore. But if you're not educated, right? When did you start getting educated?
Well, you know, a lot of counseling, marriage counseling didn't seem to work. And I started to notice that when I shared the intimacies of my heart in a counseling session, that was used against me at an opportune time at a later date by that individual. Something that, you know, you share in a counseling office, you think, you know, that's a very, you know, vulnerable place. And now suddenly those vulnerabilities were used against me as a weapon. So I decided that I'm going to go to counseling myself. And when I started to do that, my eyes really started to open up and I started to get healthier. And I started to learn what boundaries were, not to tell the other person how to live their life, but boundaries is more about me saying, I'm not going to accept that anymore. That doesn't work for me. And then when I began to put those boundaries down, that individual started escalating their dissatisfaction with me. And that it began to open up my eyes all the more, you know. And then I began to learn, like, what does it mean to do you and I do me. And a famous quote for me now is do your own work.
And don't overfunction.
And
she has a lot of tools in her tool chest.
I was an overfunctioner. I was probably a little bit of a people pleaser. I fixed things, and I'm a natural cheerleader. Like, I really believe that people can accomplish a lot of things. You can do it. But if eventually somebody else has to pick up their own life to live it. I can't live. We each have to live our own lives.
Exactly.
And alongside each other, we live our lives together in interdependence, but not codependent. Not codependent.
You can't have a relationship of thinking she's going to fill me, or I'm going to fill him, or my husband's going to fill me, or I'm going to fill him. That's an unhealthy, dysfunctional relationship. But that's what sometimes we hold on to. We start to hold on to think, I need them to be okay so that I'm okay.
Right.
Like, if they're not okay, it's okay. It's okay that they're not okay.
Right.
You have to be okay because you're not connected to them. Do you understand? In that way, you should have your own energy and your own vibration of who you are and get filled up.
Right.
You know, for us, we get spiritually filled up. God fills our tank. You know, but even though some other people they say that they love God and God fills them, but then they'd overflow that. But when they're making you responsible for their lives, that's when you know it's wrong.
Right.
It's not right. So I want to introduce you to something else. There's a law of polarity. Okay, this is really good. You could screenshot it, right? And I'll put it up.
I was going to say it's backwards. It goes backwards on there.
Oh, well, I'll show it to you frontwards. But anyway, the law of polarity. So we are governed by laws in this world, and one of them is gravity, right? Even though we know God loves us, sometimes people can, say, oh, well, I love God, or I'm a Christian, or it doesn't matter, except I love what the Lord says. It's by their fruit you'll know them, right? It's like what you sow is what you reap. If you reap in poison, you're going to grow poison. If you're sowing corn, you're going to reap corn, right? If you're sowing evil, you're going to get evil. If you're sowing good, you're going to get good. So a lot of times we live in negative. We live in it. There's a universal law called polarity. And polarity, there's negative and positive. Basically, it's the opposite of everything. Everything has an opposite. The front of your body, the back of your body, the front of a camera, the back of a camera. Hot, cold, on, off. What else is polarity? Opposite.
Yeah, like good, evil.
Up, down. Left, right, in, out. Right? But same thing with emotions. What's the opposite, Mary Beth, of negative emotions?
Positive emotions.
Right. You see? So what's the opposite of ignorance?
Knowledge.
Think about that. Now, the thing of it is, these emotions give you feelings, right? Emotions give you feelings that they say we're an ocean of motion, right? We're all these emotions, and they're all inside, and they kind of, even your mind can dictate to your body. You could feel so scared or sick or something because of what's going on in the mind, right? You don't realize how biology to belief, whatever you believe is what your body and the rest of your life is going to be created by. And I love to say this, you create your own outcome. And I know sometimes we hate that because we have to take responsibility for every choice and every decision that we make, right? So the opposite of ignorance, right? What happens if you're in an ignorant state? And what does ignorance mean, Mary Beth? What would be a good definition for ignorance?
What you don't know.
Yeah, it's not a bad definition.
Yeah.
It's just ignorant. You just don't know what you don't know. And how come you don't know? Because you weren't taught. It's so simple. It's not even a hard thing. It's because you were not taught. So ignorance is not a bad thing. However, ignorance can keep you stuck because the emotion that ignorance gives you, because we so are afraid of the unknown. So all of a sudden, the unknown, we have doubts and we have worry. Oh my God, what if? I don't know. I don't understand. Or right. So when she was in ignorance of not knowing what codependency was, what other things did you have to learn? The unavailable emotional man, right? That was another one. What started waking you up? You were lived in ignorance for a little while, but what started to wake you up? What were the things that actually gave you knowledge? Because remember, that's the opposite. So if you living in a state of fear or hurt or pain, you got to go to knowledge, because knowledge is going to give you well-being, right? So because now, Mary Beth, where do you live, right? That was then. But we're getting all this knowledge that you got, which was from your advocate, right? You became, who were the people that helped you out of your...
Well, let me start here. I think one of the things that really helped me move and got me up and moving in a direction is I was physically getting sick. I mean, my intestines, my internal being, and that's one of the things about covert emotional dysregulation. If somebody's dysfunction, when somebody is doing that to you, it has a physical effect on you, and it was having a physical effect on me, and I didn't know it. See, that's the thing. I still didn't know it, but there's a very popular book. It's very, if you take it on, it's really quite a challenge. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. So sometimes we think that we're emotionally handling something. Oh, I got it, I'm handling it. And then all of a sudden you have digestive problems, or you get migraine headaches, or your hip hurts, or your back hurts, or your neck hurts. All these things, you don't even know why. Well, the body keeps the score. So we're very interconnected in our bodies. We're body, soul, and spirit. And when one is not aligned in the right vibration, you'll suffer, and you might not even know it. So I was starting to get literally physically ill. And I felt like if I did not leave that relationship or at least step away, that I was going to die. I'm not kidding. I was getting sick, and I didn't know why. And
so guess what happens, right? When she lives in ignorance, not knowing, doubts and worry, then fear hits you, right? Because now you're thinking, what's going on? Right? And then anxiety comes at a high level, right? When you're in a relationship that's just taking you down, you don't know, you're losing yourself, right? And then depression comes and sets in. And then real sadness comes in.
I was very sad. Oh,
right. And then we create a mind of pessimistic all of a sudden. And trust me, he was so pessimistic that she started to become pessimistic. it was funny how when we're so connected to somebody and we actually take on their energy. They take us down the scale. Listen, a high I lives higher. They love so hard. They're in a 500 to 1,000 range, but if they have a lot of dysfunction, or if they're in a dysfunctional relationship, it could take them down to a place that they're not even familiar with. Because Mary Beth, her whole life, lived always in the higher vibration. But it's amazing that bad energy is like an energy vampire. It literally just comes in and sucks the blood right out of you, sucks the joy, sucks the identity. You start taking on somebody else's identity of over-functioning for them, right?
Well, I began to say to that individual, listen, I can't live my life and your life. Now, I used to say that, but after I came out of it and got the counseling and the help that I needed, I realized that I wasn't living my life.
Right.
I was living his life for him. I was picking up all his responsibilities and I was carrying them, which left me no time to steward my own life. And that became a problem. So no wonder when, after I really kind of was coming out of it, and Kimmy asks me one day, she goes, so what do you want? Like, what do you want in life? Or what do you want? I couldn't answer the question. I literally was like, I don't know. I don't even know what I want. I lost myself because I was living somebody else's life for them. I was taking all those responsibilities and over functioning. And when I started to shift, it was tough because I didn't know. I was a little lost because I'm going, I really don't know what I want. And I had to really stop and really, really start thinking about that. And
it's good to have good friends. So I went to her house and I took a Bob Proctor, The Shift. For 3 days, we sat and we hunkered down and watched the whole entire thing and wrote down, and that brain was starting to shift. Because this is the thing too. When you start getting healthy and well, first of all, when you get out of ignorance, right, you're starting to get knowledge. Then you start to feel certainty because you're knowing that, okay, you know that there's something really going on here, and you're starting to feel, you're starting to deal, feel, and heal, right? Now you're starting to know, I'm dealing with this situation. And then you have assurance, and then you have understanding, because now you're like, okay, there's something that's called overfunctioning. There's something called codependency. There's something called the stonewalling. There's something called gaslighting. There's something called, so all of a sudden, all this knowledge and understanding is coming to you. So you start getting better. You're starting to go up that vibration. Then well-being comes when you finally take full responsibility to start living your own life. And what I love is she put incredible boundaries down. Those boundaries were so good. And now she learned this from Leslie Vernick, Jade. Tell me some of your great things from Leslie Vernick.
So then I joined a group, a Christian group, because my faith is very important to me. And that was one of the things that really held me in the relationship way longer than I should have, because there was what I would consider spiritual abuse. It was misuse of what God's word says. So any case, that was, my faith is very important to me. So I joined a group run by a woman named Leslie Vernick. She wrote The Emotionally Destructive Relationship or Marriage. She wrote those 2 books and many others. But so I became part of her group called Conquer. And it is an online group, and they open up like maybe twice a year for membership. So I joined that, and there's 2
Did it take you
acronyms.
emotionally to the gym? Like, what made you join it, real quick? Before you tell the acronyms, what made you join it, Mary Beth? Like, why did you need that support system? What would you recommend? Like, would you recommend it to other people? If they're
100%.
How much support did it give you? Because was your family able to understand?
Yeah. Well, when I first started telling my family, like I have great sisters, right? So, Kimmy was already on board with me. Forget it. She was like my support, my rock. But my sister Trish, she was very much like, she's a very
strong. Get over it. Yeah. Get over it.
Well,
move on.
She held me my feet to the fire when I said certain boundaries that I was putting in place. But then after a while, a few months in, I felt like
people get tired.
Yeah, they get tired. She wasn't there. I called her my triage nurse. So she was my emergency triage nurse, but she was not my long-term care.
Yeah.
So Conquer was my long-term care. I actually belonged to that group for 2 years, and I probably stayed 6 months longer than I needed to, but it was I just got really, really healthy.
Healthy. And that's what comes here. Blissfulness and real happiness, right? And then you create a mind of positivity and optimistic. Well, go ahead. So now you can share.
So now there are 2 acronyms that are very, very,
I remember them now too. They're phenomenal.
That I live by. And
Write them down.
One of them is, all right, so it's called Conquer, and we live by CORE, CORE. So CORE is courageously committed to the truth, no more denial, like not making excuses, really like stepping up to the truth of the matter. O is for open to wise counsel, open to God and open to wise counsel, others, not just anybody, but, being choicey about who you're talking with.
If their life is well and doing healthy, then you can listen to them. But if their life is a mess and you're asking somebody that they're a mess, doesn't give you good advice.
Not at all. Not at all.
So CO.
And then R is for responsibility. I have to take responsibility for myself. I can't say, well, it's because of them, or I can't making excuses. No, I have to take responsibility for my own life. And respectful for that person. So, you don't have to be matching them in their negativity. All right. And then E is for empathy. So empathy for me, caring for me, and also empathizing with the other person, because we all come from backgrounds.
Hurt people and damage people. But you don't let that be excuse for you to be damaged.
Right.
Do you understand? That's them. They do them and you do you. But you have to say, I can't be around an unhealthy, broken person. They need to fix them so that you can have an intermutual, good, healthy relationship. Otherwise, it's a codependent relationship or a dysfunctional relationship. And it robs you and steals you of your joy.
Yeah, it's not good. So, and then the other one, which was a big one for
My
me,
favorite,
is called Jade. So,
I know now.
So,
don't justify,
argue, defend, or explain.
Explain, that's the third one. Yeah.
So
one.
I was a big one for that. Oh my gosh. It was
too.
Like if somebody, I'd be like, even just something simple. Oh, can you go out to dinner on Saturday? Well, I would love to, but you know what? I need to do my laundry and clean my house and go food shopping. And then why do you even have to, you just say, thank you very much, but I can't make it. So I learned to you just don't have to explain everything. No, I'm not saying that you wouldn't do that.
Want to explain everything because they love people and they don't want people to be upset at them. But you have to have boundaries and know that you're okay to love you for who you are, and not what people want you to be.
Yeah, and the thing is that's okay you can do a little bit of that with a healthy person. Because I can say that to Kimmy and say, oh, I would love to, but I have to do blah, blah, blah. And she would be like, totally get it, girl, Yeah. But if you're doing it with an unhealthy person, they'd give you pushback. Like, well,
I can't believe it. You don't,
some other day. I really need you today.
Right.
Can't
they
you do that something?
Guilt or shame or regret on you.
Yeah. So the person might try to manipulate you. Listen, we can all be manipulators because we want what we want, right? So we can, but it's recognizing it and not to be pulled into it, because that's when you stop living your own life, when other people are pulling on you to live their lives.
Right, because they don't have enough to... Listen, it takes hard work to deal with yourself. The hardest person to lead is who? Yourself. Yourself. And that's the goal, right? Is to learn to lead yourself healthy and well, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually, right? Those are where we have to balance our life so that we really live in true joy. And it's funny because one of my customers, she went away with a friend. Their friend says, oh, we have to go together. It's going to be so nice. I think she went to California. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And I said, so she comes back. I said, so how was it? She's like, it was terrible. I go, why? She goes, because she had so many problems. I was a nurse. I had to take care of her. Can you please go get this? Can you get that? Oh, wait, listen, because she had a bad hip. She had a bad this and that. So you have to be careful who you go away with. You don't even realize, right? Her husband had passed away and she was, she wanted freedom. Freedom to enjoy something finally, because she took care of her husband for years. And now she's on a vacation with somebody that, she wasn't expecting to have to be another nurse, and she couldn't really even enjoy it. So it's just really amazing that you can think something, but if you're not aware of paying attention, who are you hanging out with? Are they energy givers or are they energy vampires? Right? So we just wanted to share this just because it's so important. Relationships, there's so many relationships that are so dysfunctional. So we just wanted to bring some awareness to you. We hope that this video helped you. Anything you want to end off with, Mary Beth?
Well, I would say that the healthier that you get, you start to attract other healthy people around you. And then your tribe, the people that you end up doing life with, are not the ones that suck the life out of you, but they actually, there's reciprocity, there's mutuality, there's when you're a whole person and another person is sort of a whole person. Now listen, do we make mistakes? Of course, we're not perfect, but when somebody is doing their own work, they're a pleasure to be around because they're not trying to pull your life out of you. Now there are times when we all have those
own family.
Yeah, but there are sometimes where maybe you need, like I just finished a book about, dementia and whatnot, and it just came to a close today, and it was very emotional because I was a caretaker to my mom, and she died 6 months ago, and I said, to Kimmy, instead of going and hiding in my room and crying and going, wow, I just said, it was really emotional. I was open. I said, I just feel really emotional today because I just finished that book, and it's like some closure, but it just, I'm grieving right now. And she, and she let that be okay, but that's healthy.
Right.
She's not trying to fill me up, but but I can share that. And there's something in healthy relationships, it's called intimacy, which means what? Into me, I see. There you go. So that's real relationship.
Authentic friendship.
Yes. Yeah. Where I can be vulnerable and open with you and be known because unless you let
love and belonging,
and you only can be loved, truly loved, if you're truly known.
Yeah, and you have to love yourself because if you don't self-love and self-care, you can't give what you don't have. Right. So always remember that. I've done my own work for a long time, and now I'm super healthy and well. But she's done her work, so she's super healthy and well. So it's very easy. So even nobody is perfect. Even if we got into a little anything disagreed about something, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's over. Done. All right, that was all right. So what? We don't see eye to eye on something. No big deal. Right. We just move on. You move on, and that's a healthy relationship.
Because I'm allowed to be me with my own opinions, and Kimmy's allowed to be her with her own opinions, and we can agree to disagree, but we could still be respectful to each other.
Respectful. And you know what else that I love too is that I wanted to hear that last chapter with her mom, and I wanted her to be able to cry if she wanted to, right? Because there's still a safe place. I will always give her a safe place, and I know if I have to cry about something, I could be at her house and she gives me a safe place, and we don't try to fix each other. It's not about fixing somebody. It's about allowing them to just share their emotions or share their opinion or share their feelings. And it's okay that she doesn't have to fix me, that if I'm crying about something I'm going through, it's okay. So we just wanted to share that we love you. And if you need to share anything, you can always call. So I'm Coach Kimmy, and I have success@coach-kimmy.com. And Mary Beth will have all her stuff up too, but if you ever need to reach her, you could get to her through me because she don't have it all together yet, but her book is going to be incredible. I can't wait.